Hello, hello. Today I wanted to talk about the Impact Incubator program, which is now open for enrollment. So this cohort of the program is starting the week of April 4th, and it is a 9-month program, and we are running through to December. So let me tell you a little bit about the program first, and then I'll get to some of the common questions that come up in conversation with folks who are interested in joining the program. So first of all, the Impact Incubator is a K to R transition program for women faculty who are K Award recipients and thinking about moving to R01 funding. So typically they're sort of mid K Award and starting to prepare to make that leap to R01 level funding and really make that transition from being a mentee and a trainee into more of a PI role. And so the way that we have designed the program is to help you create a foundation to not only be successful with the R01 that you write, the very first one that you write as you're making that transition, but to really establish a strong foundation for the next stage of your career. And so here's how we do that. It happens in 3 phases. So in phase 1, we're really focusing on prioritizing your time and your capacity and protecting it as well, right? And so that involves identifying the impact that you really want to make with your research. What are you here to do? What are the questions that you're curious and passionate about, and how can you get clearer on where you want your research to go? So that's one of the very first things that we focus on is figuring that out and clarifying that and really declaring it. And then once we're clear on what that is, then we do the work of prioritizing your time and capacity to make sure that you are able to really focus on doing what it is that you came here to do, right? And then the final piece of that in this first phase is really establishing good boundaries and habits to make sure that you are able to enact those priorities that you've identified, right? So if you've been following along in this video series that I've been doing, you will know that this is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle here, right? Writing a strong R01 is a lot more than just learning the nuts and bolts and the mechanics of how to write a strong grant. It's about giving yourself the time and the capacity to do the really deep work that is required to write a strong application and to help you focus on doing the work that you are here to do, right? Because if you have all of these different voices in your ear telling you what you should be doing and how to do it, you'll get pulled in a million different directions, and you'll stray from that path that you really want to be on. So in the first phase of the program, that's where we really focus on building that foundation of understanding what your priorities actually are and how we can design your professional life, your professional schedule to allow you to do that. Okay? Then let's talk about phase 2. So phase 2 is where we get a little bit more concrete, let's say, about the application that you are planning to write, this very first R01 that you are planning to write as you move out of your K Award and into R01 funding. And what we do here is, again, now that we understand the impact that you want to make with your research, the type of research that you want to be doing, once we understand those big scientific challenges that you want to focus on, then we can start getting a little bit more concrete around what this first R01 is actually going to look like. How does it carry on from the K Award research that you've already been doing? And how does it help you kind of continue along in that trajectory that you are on? So we start um, clear on what the focus of this first R01 is actually going to be. And we start looking at how to position yourself to be most competitive. And so part of that is the strategy around aligning what you want to do with the appropriate target funding institute or center, making sure that you're getting your grant in front of the people who are going to be most excited about your ideas. And part of it too is about positioning yourself as a strong PI and your team as the right team to be doing this work. So it's really about sort of laying the groundwork for a successful application. Okay, so we do a lot of that sort of success strategy work in that second phase, as well as some very concrete um, work around, what is this grant actually going to look like in a big picture way. And so we prepare a draft aims page so you can sort of see the 30,000-foot view of what it is that you're doing, and then we go about the strategic work to make sure that you are positioning you and your team and your project in the most favorable and competitive way that you can. And then let's talk about phase three. So phase three is where the rubber meets the road in terms of the mechanics of writing a strong application, right? So we look at, how do you build a really strong and logical argument for why your research deserves to be funded, why you're the team to do it, and why your project is feasible. That's sort of the big picture argument that we're trying to make, but we take that big picture argument and we apply it to the specific components of your application to make sure that you are learning the skills and the techniques and the frameworks to write not only this first R01 and make sure that you're putting out the best possible version of this project that you can, but these are skills and frameworks and strategies that are going to serve you for all of the R01s you're going to write in your career, right? Because we know that these types of grants are the ones that you're going to be writing until you retire. So we might as well get those skills under our belt early so you can learn really what is required to do this well. And so the reason that we get to the writing piece in the third phase of the program and not way at the beginning is because we need to lay that groundwork first, right? We need to make sure that you have good habits and boundaries in place so that you can, again, do that deep thinking that is required to really conceptualize your idea and then get strategic about how you're going to execute it, right? That's phase one and phase two. And then by the time we get to phase three, because you've got all of those really good components in place, the vision and the habits and the boundaries and the strategy, once that's all there, the writing becomes so much easier and more efficient because you have all of that foundation in place for you. And again, this is relevant to the very first R01 that you're going to be submitting as you transition from your K award to your first R01, but it's also going to lay the foundation for the next stage of your career to really help you to thrive. I'm not interested in just supporting you on this one application. I want to make sure that you have these skills with you as you move forward, and that you've really prepared yourself to do the work that you're really interested in doing, excited to do, and that is going to make the most impact. So that is the outline of the program. Again, this is for women faculty who are making that leap from their K award to R01 funding. So I have a few questions here that have come up as I have been in conversation with people who are interested in joining the program. So let me get to those right now. So the first one is really about timing. So again, this cohort of the program, if you're watching now live or in the next couple of weeks, we're now in late March 2022. This cohort of the program is starting the week of April 4th, 2022. And so one of the questions that I get is, well, okay, so this is a 9-month program, and I am planning to submit my first R01 in October, which means that that I'm planning to write this grant before the program is actually complete. Is this a good fit for me? Should I be joining this program? And so the question that I put back to folks who ask this is, I mean, in short, it's what's the rush? And often that conversation is about, well, I know that I need to get started early, and I'm committed to submitting on this deadline, because I know I need to get the process started. I know that it might take me a while, and I want to take advantage of all of the advantages that are available to me, right? The ESI bump being the big one, right? And so I want to remind you, and we've talked about this in a previous video, I want to remind you that the ESI bump is not the only way to give yourself an advantage in the grant writing process, right? What we talked about in that other video is that if the ESI bump if that's the thing that you are counting on to help you get your first R01, and you don't really consider any of the other elements that are required to be successful, like giving yourself a long enough runway to write a really good application, and giving yourself the protected time in your schedule to do the deep thinking that you really need to do to be able to prepare a really strong application. If you are just looking at that one piece of the puzzle as the sole advantage that you'll have, you're missing other opportunities to give yourself all the advantages, right? And so if you're scrambling to put together an application so that you're just getting something going, getting something out the door, that might not help you as much as giving yourself the time you need to really think deeply about what you're doing and put together a strong application. And of course, only you can make the decision, but just remember that that holding to a specific deadline just to get the process started might not be the only way to give yourself the advantage that you're looking for, right? And the other thing to keep in mind is, we are now towards the end of March, beginning of April. You are already on a fairly limited time frame to prepare that grant for October, let's say. So you need to already make sure that you are protecting your time and committed to doing that work to be able to get the grant out the door by October. And if you haven't been doing that yet, you might find that even though you have that particular deadline in mind, that if you don't have those pieces in place, you might not even make that deadline. So just something to consider there, that it's good to have a goal, but think about why that goal exists, right? Why you're focused on that particular deadline, and what else you can do to help you meet that goal. Okay. Next question is, how much time does the program require per week? So what we tell folks is that you should expect to be spending about 6 hours a week on your writing. And that will include the lessons and the coaching that we do inside the program, but it will also be outside of that time. You need to be able to commit sort of a minimum of 6 hours a week to doing this work. But what we also say is that if you cannot imagine committing 6 hours a week to this program at this point, but you are committed to finding that time, that is okay. We can help you with that. But if you cannot imagine putting 6 hours a week into your writing and you have no interest in doing that, please don't apply. This program is not for you. We are here to help you create those habits and create those boundaries. But if you are, unwilling to meet us halfway, then there's no reason for you to participate in the program. Okay? One of the other questions that we get is like, what's in the program? How does it work? So we've talked about the 3 phases, right? We've got phase 1, which is about protecting your time and your capacity and prioritizing. The second phase is really about planning and strategy, and the third phase is about persuading your reviewers and really building that strong argument and building the application. So within those 3 phases, we have teaching, we have coaching, and we have editorial feedback. So this is a curriculum-based group coaching program, which means that we do have a curriculum that we're following. The program has been designed very specifically to help you achieve a specific outcome. And so there are lessons within each of the phases to help you achieve the objective of that phase of the program. And we also have coaching. So when you try to implement these lessons, what we are teaching, you'll come up against a lot of stuff. You'll notice that some pieces are really challenging, and you'll notice that you come up against your own fears and insecurities and questions. And so the coaching component of the program is designed to help you untangle those challenges, to help you move forward. So it's there to support you. It's there to help you move beyond something that is keeping you stuck. Okay. We also have, in the later phases of the program, when we actually do get into the writing, we have editorial feedback. And so what that involves is you submitting drafts of sections of your R01 for our editors to review and make recommendations for how to improve, whether that's improving clarity, whether that's improving logic, whether that's improving structure. We can help you shape up components of your application so that it is clearer and more competitive and more persuasive. And so once we get into the writing components of the program, that editorial feedback will become available to you. So again, we have lessons, we have coaching, and we have editorial feedback as part of this 9-month curriculum-based group coaching program. And that is really designed, again, to help you with establishing that really strong foundation for the execution of the habits that you need to be a successful and prolific faculty member, and then also to really help you understand the implementation of our frameworks and techniques for grant writing. So all of that is part of the program. Next question is, can I get my institution to pay for this? And the answer is yes. We can help you make that request, and we have some resources available to help you do that. So if you apply for the program, if your application is accepted, we can certainly help you make that request, or provide materials to help you make that request to your institution to help fund the program. that is all the questions that I have here. If there are any more, please don't hesitate to write them in the comments. The program is open for enrollment until April 1st for this particular cohort, and then we start right away the following week. So if you are interested in applying for the program, I do invite you to fill out the application that you'll see in the video description here. Once you fill out that application, you will be invited to book a call with me where we can talk about your specific situation and see if the program is a good fit for you. So I look forward to reading your application, and yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.